You're welcome to my YouTube channel. In this video, we're going to solve this quadratic equation, which is 4 raised to the power x plus 4 raised to the power of negative x is equal to 34. Now, let me start off by writing this like this. 4 raised to the power x plus, this has a negative index. From one of the laws of indices, if you have, say, a raised to the power negative b, this can be written as 1 over a raised to the power b. So this is what we have when we have a negative index. That negative sign will take the reciprocal of the number. So this 4 raised to the power negative x can be written as 1 over 4 raised to the power x. And this is equal to what? 34. Now, to make these equations more simplified, I'm going to substitute 4 raised to the power x. So I can say let y be equal to 4 raised to the power x. So right here, I'll plug in y and plus 1 over, no longer 4 raised to the power x, but what? Y. And this is equal to what? 34. Can you see how simplified this is now? If you compare it with this one, you see? So because I do not want a fraction here, I can find the LCM of these two fractions, or I can multiply every single term by y. Now, the reason for that is to get rid of this fraction here. So let's multiply every single term by y. So y times y plus y times 1 over y is equal to 34 times y. Okay, so what is y times y? That's y squared. And this y cancels this y, so you are left with 1. And this is equal to what? 34 times y is obviously 34y. So I'm going to transpose 34y to the left-hand side. So I'm going to have y squared minus 34y plus 1 is equal to what? 0. Now you can do a couple of things. You can use the formula method to get the value of y, or use completing the square method. So I'm going to use completing the square method because for most of my videos, I've been using the formula method. So let me make an exception for this particular question. So to use the completing the square method, I will move plus 1 to the other side. Remember, we are completing the square. We want to make it a perfect square. So plus 1 is not making it a perfect square. It has to be moved to the right-hand side. So I'm going to have y squared minus 34y is equal to what? Negative 1. Now the question is, what will I add to this expression to make it a perfect square? The thing to do is easy. Just divide the coefficient of this term here, divide it by 2, then you square it. Easy. Once you square it, add it to both sides of the equation. That's it. So watch this now. It's going to be y squared minus 34y. If you have negative 34, but that's if you divide it by 2, is what? Negative what? 17. And I did say once you have gotten that, you now square it. So I'm going to have plus negative 17 all squared. So this now is a perfect square. This is what I did. I took this coefficient, which is negative 34, I divided by 2, and that gave me what? Negative 17. Then I squared it. It has now made it a perfect square. I just completed it to make it a perfect square. Now remember, whatever we add here, we must add it to the right-hand side. So I'm going to have negative 1 plus negative 17 all squared, because I did it here as well. Now, don't even stress it. You know what we can do here? This might look complicated, but it's easy to even factorize. Since I already know that this is a perfect square, don't stress it. If you want to factorize this, take this leading term y and then minus, because there's a minus here. Then what do we have here? 17. Don't bother about the negative sign here. It doesn't mean, because if you square negative 17, you have a positive number. So just pick this 17, wrap everything in bracket, and put a square like this. If you expand this, you are going to get this. So this is how easy this is. Pick the first term, the leading coefficient, and the constant term. Just wrap them in a bracket and put a square there. That's it, as I've done. So this is equal to what? Negative 1 plus negative 17 raised to the power 2 is what? 289. Yes, it is. Now, what do? I'll just repeat this, square it again. What is negative 1 plus 289? That's 288. What's the next thing? Of course, you already know. I'm going to square root both sides, here and here. Now put a plus or minus here. This square root cancels the square, so you have what? Y minus 17 is equal to what? Plus or minus the square root of 288. What do I do next? I will transpose negative 17 to the right hand side because I'm trying to get the value of y. So that would be 17 plus or minus the square root of what? 288. Okay. Now let's find the square root of 288. So y is equal to 17 plus or minus. What is the square root of 288? Let me use my calculator. So that's 16.97. Correct to 2 decimal places. Okay, so it means that y is equal to 17. Remember, this is plus or minus. So plus 16.97 or 17, then the other sign minus 16.97. So y is equal to, when you add this, I'm going to have what? 33.97, or when you subtract this, you get what? 0.03. Now, these are the two values of y that we have just gotten, but we're not looking for the value of y, rather we're looking for the value of x. Now recall that what? Recall that we said let y be equal to what? 4 raised to the power x. Very good, very good. Now, since that was what we said, it's now time to plug in these values. So y is equal to 4 raised to the power x, or you can say 4 raised to the power x is equal to y if you want to switch the position. Doesn't mean anything. Okay, so 4 raised to the power x is equal to, let's go with the first value of y. So let me just start by saying when y is equal to 33.97. okay, what do we have? We have that what? Using this now, 4 raised to the power x is equal to, now I will no longer write y, I will not write this one, okay? 33.97. What do? I'll need to take the logarithm of both sides because I need to get the value of x, and this x has to be dropped. So if you take the logarithm of both sides, I'm going to have log 4 raised to the power x is equal to what? Log 33.97. So from one of the laws of logarithm, this becomes the coefficient of the logarithm. So that's x log 4 is equal to log 33.97. So let's divide both sides by log 4 to get the value of x. So log 4 cancels log 4, and I have that x is equal to all of this now. Okay, so what is log 33.97? Using my calculator, log 33.97 is 1.5311 over, what's log 4? Log 4 is 0.6021. So let's divide again. Let's divide this. 1.5311 divided by 0.6021 is 2.5429. Now this is the first value of x. If I approximate this to 2 decimal places, I will have 2.54. Let's just mark this. Now, that's for the first one. We have another value of y, which is what? 0.03. So I'm going to say when y is equal to 0.03. So when y is equal to 0.03, of course, still using the same equation, which is this. I will no longer write y, I will write what? 0.03. Again, apply logarithm to both sides. So log 4 raised to the power x is equal to log what? 0.03. Good. Now, still using the same logarithm rule. x multiplies the logarithm, so that's x log 4 is equal to log 0.03. I'll divide both sides by, again, what? Log 4. So log 4 cancels log 4, and x is equal to what? Let's get our calculator and let's do this. Log 0.03. Log 0.03 is minus 1.5229. All divided by log 4 is 0.6021. Okay, let's divide now. So x is equal to, if you divide negative 1.5229 by 0.6021, I'm going to have negative 2.5293. Now, approximately, correct to 2 decimal places, negative 2.53. Okay, so we've gotten the two values of x. So x is equal to what? What was the first one? 2.54, correct to 2 decimal places, or negative 2.53. Now we need to test. Let's check if we plug this into the original equation, we're going to have what we have on the right hand side. So let me bring back the equation. 4 raised to the power x plus 4 raised to the power negative x is equal to 34. Let's see if we put in x here and here, we're going to get 34 on the right hand side. Now you can use any of the values. You can use this or this. Okay, so let's just use 2.54. all right, even if you use this one, you see there's a minus sign here, so it changes to plus when you use this, and this will be minus here. So it's more like I'm using, if I use this one, it's more like I'm using this other value as well, because they're almost similar. This is 2.54, this is 2.53. Just, it was even because I approximated. Okay, but I don't want to use 2.54 because this has been approximated already. Let's go back and check what we had originally. Our x was what? I'm going to use this one, 2.5429. I don't want to use the approximated value. So 2.5429 is what I'm going to use. So that's 4 raised by what? 2.5429 plus 4 raised by what? Negative 2.5429. Let's see if this will give us what? 34. Okay, using my calculator, 4 raised by 2.5429 is 33.9608. Now let's come to this one. 4 raised by negative 2.5429 is 0.0300. Now when you add these two numbers, again I'm using my calculator, it's what? 33.9908. Can you see that approximately, even if you round this up to 1 decimal place, you have 34. And it was 34 we had on the right hand side of the original equation. So our conclusion is that the values of x that will satisfy the equation is what? This one here. X is equal to what? 2.54 or negative 2.53. I hope you got value from this video. If this video was helpful to you, kindly subscribe to this channel for more content like this. Do well to share this video to your friends and family. I'll see you in the next video. It's bye for now.